Hey, it's Wild Josh from Geek-Cetera, and I'm joined by Ezra and Chase, and we're going to talk about WandaVision Episode 2. We
Nope.
interrupt this program.
Nope. No.
Episode 4.
Try.
We
Yeah, that's
interrupt
better.
this program. That's better. Now, let's get geeky. So, right off the bat, we know we've all said it. We liked the first 3 episodes, but they were different. We weren't exactly what we were maybe expecting, or maybe they were exactly what we were expecting, but the 4, we finally get our really big payoff, for sure. Loved, I
Yep.
think, almost everything about this episode. There was
Yeah.
nothing bad.
It
No.
was a good episode.
This was really good. It felt more like a Marvel TV show. And I think the thing I liked about it most is that this did not show up in any of the trailers. So I like that Disney with their trailers for like Mando, like the second half of the season, you go into it not really knowing anything. You kind of see everything in the first 3 episodes, or first 3 or 4 episodes. So it's a
Yeah.
very good way of doing it because you have no idea what's gonna come in the rest of the season. So I liked this episode probably the best of the ones we've
Agreed.
had.
Absolutely agreed. This episode, to me, has made me excited for Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 hadn't, or the other 3, I should say. I actually didn't even watch it this week on Friday. I watched it on Saturday afternoon.
I thought it was
Because I
yeah.
kind of forgot about it on Friday night, and I had things to do, and I was just kind of like, I can wait. I would
So-
never have done that with Mando.
Yeah, it's true. So we have our spoilers chat, which we use to talk about, every week's episodes of whatever we're talking about. And usually somebody will post like early-ish in the morning around like 9 or 10 o'clock that they've already watched it and, their thoughts on an episode. With Mando, there was a day I decided to wake up at 7 o'clock to watch it because I just really wanted to see Mando. So I had my notes up there by like 8 o'clock in the morning. And nobody posted anything, I think, until like 10 o'clock at night this Friday. And
Yeah.
until I saw the like chat pop up, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a WandaVision episode today. And I
Yeah.
watched it while I was in bed at like midnight.
And it was worth it, right?
And it was definitely worth it.
I loved the beginning when they unsnapped, or when we
Yeah.
see the effects of the unsnap.
Yeah.
Because we don't see that in any of the Marvel movies.
Yeah,
You're
they
right.
talk about it
We-
in Spider-Man, but we don't see it.
Yeah. And it never, maybe this is just, I'm not that bright, but I never thought of how much chaos that would cause.
Mm.
I knew how much chaos the snap caused because we saw it
Yeah.
in Avengers Infinity War. But to see the unsnap, and that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
was
was
like,
really cool.
I was like amazed. Like, how are these hospital workers like they're instantly like, okay, this is happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's not even like a second, like, to think like what was going on. They're already like moving. I'm like, oh yeah, because they've kind of seen this happen before.
Yeah.
Like, like they've seen
opposite.
they've seen the snap. So now that it's like getting like reverted, they're like, huh, yeah, this is just like what happens now. Every 5 years, something really weird happens.
I mean, it's
Yeah, really.
it's a good point because there was a lot of chaos, but at the same point when she's talking to the nurse was like
Yeah.
so calm and collected. She's like, "You disappeared 5 years. Like, let's just start off the conversation like this. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, your mother's dead. Don't worry, I know exactly who you are, even though it's been 5 years since I've seen you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it was kind of cool too. Like 5 years passed, and none of those people had aged. Like they just gained 5 years of their life.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of I
Well,
guess
that-
they didn't really gain it.
Yeah.
but-
I mean, that's what happened like with Tom Holland, right? Like, because like
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
they had to make it so all the main characters
all the main
Yeah.
characters got snapped.
got
Yeah,
stabbed,
so they could all stay the same.
so they could stay in the same grade.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really cool. I really,
Mhm.
really liked that.
and that led us right to Sword.
But it wasn't so. But that puts us in an interesting time frame because that means it hasn't really been that long since the end of Avengers Endgame that this has all happened.
So how? when she leaves the hospital and she's still mighty confused, and then she shows up at Sword, everything has seemed to like click for her. Did it say how much time passed between those two things?
I feel like it did, and
Was
I
it like a
don't
month or
remember.
something? I
think
don't.
it was like a month. I think it was
Yeah,
only like a month. I think they did say something about that, the
because
time frame.
because I remember them showing like later in the thing they said 24 hours later, but I'm
Right.
like, wait, they must have showed that because there's no way it was like, oh, she walked down the street to the Sword offices. So
Yeah,
Right.
I think some time passed, but I don't
Yeah.
remember if it was implied or if they actually did tell us.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and it was kind of cool that so she was already involved in this program, this sword, before the snap had happened or taken place. Her mother was the director, it sounded like, of
Mhm.
Sword at one point. Her mom's now gone. I'm just curious if she's gotten her superpowers yet, or if we're gonna see that happen. But my wife noticed this when they were walking by um, an office in the Sword area. It had her name on the wall, and it said Monica. I think her name was Spectrum Rambo. So that would make me think that if she's already going by Spectrum at some, or has that name associated with her, that maybe she does have her superpowers.
yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
It,
What did her? You said that her powers end up being like Captain Marvel, or what did her? What were her powers? I
Let me
forget.
pull them up.
No, that was somebody else. You said there was some other character that ended up being like Captain Marvel. That was like a comic book fangirl.
Oh yeah, that was Miss Marvel.
That's yeah.
they didn't tell us how long had passed.
So she
It
has got
didn't,
energy
okay.
power. She uses energy as her main power, and speed. I guess that would go along with energy.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it is Spectrum is her name.
Hmm.
So,
I think her mom was just really weird.
What do you mean?
She just was like, Spectrum, that's a good name.
Well, why wouldn't she have gone
Her
by like
middle name?
Lieutenant Trouble though, or something? Still,
Yeah,
like why wouldn't you do Monica Trouble Rambo?
I want to see if I can pull up.
Oh, was it in quotations? Like, was it her actual?
It was in quotations, like
Okay,
Monica.
it was a nickname, not a middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I see what's going on now.
Spectrum. I want to go back to that scene now because I'm wondering. I'm not finding much
Yeah.
about it online, and I wonder if no one else noticed it.
I
But it was written on the
there's
wall.
somebody else out there that noticed it. I did not.
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah.
My wife catches things like that. I don't always.
No.
Anyways,
That's what
so
Cinema Sins guy is for me, with like movies and
Yeah.
stuff. As I watch him to find all the Easter eggs that I missed.
so we get and then we get Jimmy Woo, sorry, not Johnny, introduced his character Randall Park, the FBI agent.
Mhm.
Now we saw him before, and he was in Ant-Man. He was like the parole officer in Ant-Man. He's kind of a funny character. I like him a lot. I'm not really sure I understand why FBI is working with Shield, and Shield hasn't just pushed everyone else out.
Yeah, so because Shield, this isn't Shield, this is a Sword operation.
Oh, that's right. It's
And
Sword,
so
yeah.
if I'm thinking like, with the Sokovian Accords, an organization like Shield probably isn't allowed to exist outside of, the government. So they're probably being forced to play nice with FBI and CIA, NSA, whatever, all that
Mm-hmm.
type stuff.
Especially seeing as like Shield was essentially branded as terrorists. So this
Yeah.
other organization that's kind of like Shield,
Yeah.
Would need some
would
like
probably
someone needs
have
to be in charge of it.
yeah, some
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like so this is Sword is disconnected in the MCU from Shield is like kind of what I'm getting like understanding from this.
The way I understood it was Shield handled more of the earthly stuff, and
Yeah.
Sword handled more of the space. So
Right, but like in the comics they were kind of like Sword and like Sword and Shield were like kind of the same,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like Sword was like a branch of Shield or like you know what I mean?
to me, I get the idea that one is almost more defense and one is more offense.
Yeah,
But
and
I don't
that's
know if that's just what they're trying to do, or if that's just the
and
way it
shield
feels
is
for me.
for protecting Earth, and sword is sentient weapons, whatever, like all that
Right.
other stuff. So that definitely sounds.
So
I don't know.
the other thing I was wondering too is like, so Monica Rambo's mom, what was her name?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's not what I'm wondering. It doesn't matter. She made sword. So does that
Well,
mean
yeah.
does that mean that sword is like a private sector, or is it?
I
part
think
of...
she was the director of Sword. I don't know. You think did it say she came up with it?
I thought it said that. I could be wrong now,
I don't
but
know.
Her name is Maria Rambo, just for future reference.
Maria Rambo.
Yeah.
I thought they said that she built it from the ground up is what they said. I
Oh.
thought, but
Well,
no, I'm quite no.
you
second
gotta
guessing.
think about it like they probably would say that what's his name?
Coulson.
Coulson? I was thinking Nick Fury built Shield from the ground up.
I was thinking after Shield fell.
Founder
Oh.
Maria Rambo. Yep.
There you go.
But Maria Rambo could have done it earlier because that movie took place in the 90s, right? The early 90s. So
Yeah.
it could have
Well-
came up the same time as Sword and Shield, and she was the one that worked on Shield, and then like Nick Fury would have been the one on
Yeah.
Shield. I mean, and she would have been on Sword.
I mean, Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, and Chester Phillips are credited as founders of Shield. So Shield.
Oh, really? So
Well,
Shield
yeah.
was around way longer.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
that was what the whole Peggy Carter show was about.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like actually thinking about it, more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And because that found it
I
out.
wonder
of, like,
if
the-
Sword came around because they started realized that there was aliens when the Skrulls, right, from Captain
Yep.
Marvel.
Sword
so they
is
realized.
Sword is an American extra governmental intelligence agency. Extra governmental. I would love an explanation for what that means.
And usually, extra means outside of. So
Yeah.
that would make it sound to me like more of a private sector thing.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Interesting.
So
I don't know.
let's get to this first job that Monica gets put back on after the unsnap, which is kind of funny. She's told she's like grounded, right? So I guess she's not going back out into space, which is probably
Yeah.
where she had been. And she's sent on this missing persons case with Jimmy Woo. And
Maybe that's how she got her nickname.
Spectrum,
Yeah,
From-
because she's like a pilot.
a pilot.
So
Yeah.
maybe it's a pilot nickname, not necessarily like
Yeah.
you have superpowers. Here's your nickname.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Could be.
Red 5 is a call sign. So Spectrum is a
Yeah.
call sign. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Go on with what you were saying. I just
No,
Random
just
thought.
trying to like put my thoughts in order. So they go to this missing.
Sorry,
Plot,
hold on.
the
I'm
missing
backtracking
person's
to
plot,
that
yeah.
because I'm sold on it because, sorry, Carol the Avenger Danvers, like you get that nickname
Yeah.
for being a pilot. So,
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm just my brain is scattered.
So they go to the city, which is Westview,
Westview, which is
And,
where the show takes, like the previous 3 episodes took place. So
right in Westview. But no one thinks Westview. This was kind of confusing to me because the people of the area did not understand that Westview ever existed.
Mhm.
They had no idea it ever existed. There was no Westview in their mind.
Mhm.
But they're standing in front of a sign that says Westview.
Yep.
And the FBI agent Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambo are like, no, there's a Westview. And so that was just like, why do they not? I'm sure they'll probably answer that. But that was kind of interesting as to why the locals did not even know it existed, even though they
yeah,
just have to
So-
turn around and look, and there's a sign that says "Welcome to Westview."
I think that this is more evidence that like Wanda created this world. Now I thought she was like asleep and dreaming, but that doesn't seem to be the case necessarily. So like I think that she used her powers because she has mind altering abilities. We saw it in Age of Ultron to like influence outsiders and insiders to convince them like there is no SG, like it doesn't exist.
I'm willing to say that Wanda, it is Wanda's powers, but I'm not willing to say that it's her doing it purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you?
Because I'm not. I have a theory that will be coming in a video as to why.
Okay.
I don't think that it's Wanda, that it's actually purposefully. I think there's an organization or a group that's behind this whole thing. I don't think it's just Wanda going crazy.
So, I don't want to get on myself. Never mind.
I would like to say one thing,
Okay.
and it's a quote. We don't have to stay here. We can go wherever we want. No, we can't. This is our home.
Mm-hmm.
In context, that seems a little less like, I don't want to leave here, and more like threatening. No, we can't. This is where we have to be for you to exist.
But here's the thing, is if she's the one creating him in this scenario, why can't she just make somewhere else? Why can't she make a tropical island for them to live on? Or, like, all these... Like, why does it have to be this random small town in America?
So,
why can't they go back to Sokovia?
Yeah,
why can't she build her home?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever... Do you know what the Manchurian Candidate is?
It's a nickname that Tony Stark calls the Winter Soldier.
That is true, yeah. But do you know where that idea comes from, Manchurian Candidate?
Probably something to do with Manchuria, China.
It has to do with basically implanting soldiers with like things in their mind that are subconscious. They don't even remember that they were implanted there. But if a word or a trigger is given to them, they all of a sudden turn. That's why, and it is an actual program that the government worked on back in like the 60s and 50s and stuff like that. That's why he calls Winter Soldier the Manchurian Candidate.
Because of the brainwashing, yeah.
Because of the brainwashing. Where was Wanda and Petra,
Pietro?
or however you say it,
yeah.
Where were they raised?
In captivity.
In captivity by
Strucker.
Yeah, who's part of Hydra. So I think that there could be something more. I don't want to get into it too much because I'm going to be doing a whole video. But I think there could be something more to her as to why this is happening.
Yeah. That could also explain the Strucker Watch ad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could.
I had a different theory with the Strucker Watch ad after seeing this episode, though. So we see Jimmy Woo, speak through her radio station, which means there are people outside of this bubble trying to get in and speak to her. So why can't Hydra be on the other side of the town doing the same thing? Both are trying to control an asset. They're trying to get, SWORD is trying to get Wanda back. Hydra's trying to swing her to their side. Remind her of Strucker and, her upbringing.
To that, I say... it just is different, right? I mean, maybe... Like, we haven't seen any Hydra helicopters or any, like, Hydra people come in. Or Hydra hasn't communicated to her over the radio.
No, but Hydra has always been very secretive. So if they want to, or if they're even within SWORD again trying to get out, they don't want this to be like a public broadcast. They're not, sending things that can be traced to them. But a one-time commercial here, something there, something there. I don't know. You wouldn't want to oust yourself if you're Hydra. You wouldn't want SWORD to know your back, so you wouldn't want them finding your drones or your stuff. But if Monica could get in there, what is there saying that, Agnes and, I want to say Henry, whatever The
one
dude who
to
cut
go.
through the wall was
Oh,
saying they're not
yeah.
Hydra. Like,
Right.
He has a name.
he does have a name, but he cut through a wall with a hedge trimmer, so that's what he's being known as.
He's head trimmer man.
Edge
Yep.
trimmer guy. I don't have his name right here. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I did like too that they were like replaying the first 3 episodes, and seeing like what everything was. That was really cool too. Like,
I have issue with that too.
you do?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just I mean, there's no like time like it was just weird. We didn't see the guy like choking, or I guess maybe that was purposeful. I don't know. I just feel like
well,
they were watching in real time. We were watching them watch it in real time, and the
Yeah.
episode didn't line up in real time.
It doesn't, and I think that's important.
Okay,
I
it might
think
be
I
important.
don't think it's a just. I think that the feed that they're getting
Herb,
has been trimmed, because you
Herb.
don't see her seeing the beehive guy coming out of the store either. And when she says no and rewinds everything, you
Yeah.
don't see that side of it.
Yeah.
You didn't even see when she turned and shot Monica Rambeau through the wall.
also, it seems like the opposite of that happens too, where like a lot of time happens in between shots, and it seems like it's Cat, right?
Her character in the show,
What's her name? Yeah,
Kat Denning, is her real name. Her character is Darcy.
it's Darcy
Lewis.
Lewis. Okay,
Yeah.
so we see Darcy. It seems like she's been sitting there all night watching the thing, and like a whole night has gone by. It's like, but the episode is only an hour long. Is she watching it over and over again? Like, are they playing like reruns, or like what's going on? I don't know.
I didn't have such an issue with that. I don't know.
I don't know why it just bothered
I
me
didn't
while I was
until
watching
Ezra
it.
mentioned that, and now it's gonna bother me that the timing is off. I like that
It was-
I like that they kind of gave us a frame of reference, but if they're not gonna make it like, if there's no explanation for that,
Coherent? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
but she also
maybe
does
it was
say,
reruns, but
she does say
I don't
that
know.
somebody is controlling the feed too, because like when they try, like when it gets that jump cut when Monica gets it yeeted
Launched.
through the wall, like
Yeah.
that scene
Yeah.
gets cut, and she can't figure out why it's being cut.
so maybe it's like it's on sometimes, so she's just watching static until it like comes back on. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. It just I don't know. Just like wasn't explained.
Mhm.
I guess that's more what bothers me. Like if there is an explanation for it, I wouldn't be so bothered. But like I wish they would
So,
share that with us.
My
Maybe they
defense
will.
for that is there are so many things that haven't been explained with the show
I
yet.
know.
Like from episode 1 to now, that we still have so many questions. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a bit more background on it in the next episode. My
Yeah.
actual question for
Yeah.
the next episode, though, is: do you think we're going back inside the show, or are we still watching it from outside?
I think we'll go back in,
I kind of feel like
but
we're gonna go
also
back
be
in.
outside as well.
You think they'll split time?
Yeah, I do.
Hmm.
Because there's definitely scenes of we haven't gotten from
Yeah.
inside.
Okay.
Also, like how long was this episode?
I think it was only 30 minutes. Or
It was like I thought it was like 27 or something. Like it was
short.
real short.
Everything has been short from this show.
Not really. Has it?
27 is probably
They've
the
all been-
longest one.
They've all been about the same amount of time, I think, around 30
The first one
minutes.
was like
Yeah.
24.
Sure.
Because you have to take
Me-
into account like the 9 minutes of credits.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the don't tell me the time anymore. All right. The first one was 29. Yeah. All right. You might be right. The other one was 36, including credits. The third one was I thought this one was like 40. No, it's 32.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know why
They've
this
all
one
been
just felt
short.
a lot shorter.
I think it's
It
because
just-
they gave us so much information that it makes the time go, or like so much happened, it makes the time go by faster.
Yeah, I guess that could be it. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt wicked short. It was 35 minutes,
Mhm.
so I'm very wrong. But like, yeah, it felt like it went by wicked quick.
I really think it's
Yeah,
because
the other
there's
ones-
a lot that happened. So
Kind of felt like they were a lot longer.
I think it's because you and I
Yeah.
don't like sitcoms as much.
Just kind of
Oh.
dragged on.
I was just thinking of looking at some notes. What'd you guys think of the dead corpse Vision?
That's
Like
That's a little
that
scary.
that made me
that
think
kind
like,
of
is she really just reanimating his dead corpse? And if so, this show has gotten a lot darker than I was anticipating.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they've been
and then
kissing.
they were
And they
they
had
were
kids.
doing more.
And they had kids. So
Yeah.
I'm a little disturbed.
That is weird. All right, let's
Mm.
not talk about that anymore.
You don't want to talk about that?
Well, what I was wondering is why is it that that got showed on, because we saw that on the TV set, right?
No,
When did we see that?
I don't think.
I think we saw that when
I think we saw that in
we were in the
cutscene.
show when she blasted Monica through the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that
okay.
was outside of the television set, and
That was
Vision
like-
came home.
Why did? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't know. That was weird.
that was weird.
Yeah, that was definitely weird. Like,
I-
I'm thinking it was just like in her mind. I don't know. That it wasn't
Yeah.
really his dead
kind of-
reanimated corpse that she's been talking to and moving around
I
and
don't know.
having babies with.
Again, I'm still kind of like, I don't think that necessarily is what's going on. I think that she was just reminded by Monica that he's dead. So it was kind of like a mini flashback sort of, or like a a realization, like, because she's trying so hard, I feel like, to like immerse herself in this reality. So like this is what's real, like, to trick herself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like things like that happening, like like something in her brain's like, wait a minute, this is
Trying to snap her out of it.
yeah.
That's part of the reason I still don't think that she's created this. And I still don't understand how, like, these things are happening outside of her presence. Like, Vision going to get the doctor doesn't make him having a conversation with the doctor doesn't make sense if it's just in her mind. Like,
that's a good point.
she wouldn't create that scenario. The doctor would just end up showing back up.
Right.
Like, there wouldn't need to be a conversation because, as far as she knows, a conversation between Vision and the doctor never really happened. Vision left and he came back with the doctor.
Kind of does, though. Because the doctor exists. He's a real person.
Is he, though?
All of them are real people.
Yeah,
right?
they're all real
They were
people.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah, because they were.
Do you remember?
well,
Do you remember
was a
they were
team.
IDing every single one of
Yeah.
them? You don't
they were
remember that?
IDing all the
They
Okay,
were
people.
that's
ID
fair.
they had-
Yeah, I forgot. Outside the show, because I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah.
So they're all real people. Like Vision actually has to go and have a conversation with that guy,
But Vision
'Cause I-
can't because he's dead.
but he can if he's fabricated.
But not a fake one. So right now, there is a conversation happening upstairs, Ezra, between your parents, that you don't know the contents of this conversation. So how, if this is all a figment of your imagination, will it ever display on a fake TV what is going on with that conversation if you're the one making it up?
Because if I was like animating somebody upstairs, like with my mind powers, I would be aware of what's going on because I am actually having that conversation.
But you're not there, so you can't.
But I am, because the person that I made with my mind powers is up there.
But then if you're saying these are real people, you're not controlling these real people with your mind powers.
You're not controlling you're controlling Vision. Vision's the one that's being controlled.
But not if she isn't. This is not a winning battle. There's an entire scientific theory behind why nothing really exists. Everything is a figment of your imagination. Which I don't personally subscribe to that theory because in your mind I would not exist the rest of the day doing what I'm doing. You would not have known that I played Breath of the Wild all day and beat a divine boss and got myself to another one, because if this was all in your mind, you wouldn't be doing that as me.
Yeah,
So,
and you also wouldn't be campaigning that my mind is like the reality.
well, that's the scientific theory, is that, you personally are the only one that exists. So I'm showing,
Yeah, I know,
from your
but
perspective, I wouldn't be sitting here playing Breath of the Wild.
yeah, no, I agree, but
So
but
from Wanda's
still
mind,
think
she wouldn't be having a conversation as somebody else through a dead reanimated corpse.
but she would though. She would have to. Like, how else is he having that conversation?
He's not.
But they showed it, so he is. I mean,
Exactly. That's why it's not happening in her mind.
I don't like. Okay, so this is the thing. I wonder what she actually sees, because this is why I thought it was like a dream state, right? Because like
Mhm.
I've had dreams that I was like watching television and things were happening on the television. It was like an out of body experience almost, because like I'm watching people interact with each other. I'm not actually doing anything. I'm watching it happen.
Mhm.
So I like, that's why I subscribed to the idea that this was like a dream, like that she made up in her head, that she's not actually there physically. She's just like dreaming it, because she's watching it's happening as if it was a television show. Because that's some people
Mhm.
can't like have dreams like that. So that's why I thought personally like that makes sense. But now it's like, okay, so is she fabricating this world specifically to be a television show? Like, where is this broadcast coming from? Is it coming from her head? Is she actually not herself? She's the camera crew like filming this, or like where is the broadcast coming from? That's I think the real question.
Yeah, I don't think that she's creating the broadcast.
Okay.
Which how would somebody creating the broadcast be able to like tap into her mind that she's using the power to create this world to broad? And why is it even being broadcast? Why do you need this to happen? I don't know.
So that's kind of like what I'm getting at. Like, I don't like. I still kind of subscribe to the fact that she's sort of in a dream state, like she's making this, like this is her, like she's having an out of body experience, like she's watching television. Because otherwise, why would there be a broadcast? Why would it exist? And if she was like this broadcast was from her brain and she was kind of like dreaming that it's a television show, then that would make sense why Vision goes and talks to the person.
But why is it affecting the real world then if it's a dream?
Because of the mind powers. Like, I believe that she's got to be able to influence things in the real world while she's dreaming. Like, she's sleepwalking essentially, but with her mind. She's sleep using her powers.
I don't have anything to dispute that, so I will just say that her powers are usually marked by red and everything is not red. So there's your answer.
I mean, I think
I couldn't come up with a good rebuttal, so that's what you have. That's what you get, is you get the fact that this is not just in a giant red dome.
Do you so you don't think that she's made this world?
I do not think that she has made this world. I don't think she's controlling it.
Fair enough.
So I can understand where you're coming from, at least,
though. So then, essentially, what you're saying is that you also don't think she reanimated Vision.
That's a good question.
Because then he would have a red dome around him, like red artifacts.
I honestly, I've got no idea what's going on in this show. So I guess that's the start. But I think, like I said in the last live stream, I see this as kind of a like the framework from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I think that Hydra has their own, world that she's living in, and every time she kind of like remembers a piece of reality, that's when things seem different, and then Hydra has to go in and change it. So after that entire encounter with Monica, she remembers, you know, like the snap and Vision dying, and so she sees him dead, and so Hydra has to go back and change, the code to be like, no, 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 you don't remember that, and kind of like rewind that scene.
And see, this is why I have to believe that she's making this, because otherwise, why would she have the ability to rewind time?
She's not rewinding it. No,
Why would she have the ability to
she's not.
forcibly exit Monica Rambeau?
So when people were in the framework, like when I don't want to spoil too much of the show.
Well, I watched that story arc. I don't know.
I know, but I know that my parents have just started watching that show, and my mom does watch the podcast. But when Daisy enters the framework, she still knows who she is, and she can still interact with things. And we know that, the other characters in there, had their memories erased, but she started to get Coulson to remember. Like, he still remembered that Tahiti is a magical place while he was in the framework. So you're now trapping somebody with superpowers in this framework. She can still use her powers, and that's how she could.
I'm not buying this as the framework, and I'll give you reasons.
Okay.
When people are in the framework, they're sitting in a chair in a room sleeping.
How that framework was set up, yes.
When people are in the framework, they don't have to actually be living people to interact with. They wouldn't just abduct 50 random people and put them in chairs and make them go to sleep and make them go into the framework.
But there were other real people in the framework.
They wouldn't make just a small town to be the set of the framework, because that would break the illusion that it was real. I don't think Wanda needs that immersiveness, because she's also trying to convince herself that it's real. She's working with it to convince herself that everything is real. And she's actively denying the things that are telling her that this is not real. So from where I sit, where I'm watching this, I think that the answer has to be that she made it, because otherwise, why would she not be picking up on these things? Why would she be actively denying them to try to re-immerse herself in this reality if this was not her intent?
Hail Hydra.
I don't buy it. I'm not sure I buy that yet.
I don't know. We both have different views, but I think
maybe
that's
she's brainwashed. But I also I
think that's part of the thing I like about the show, is that because nobody knows what's going on, is you can have so many conversations like this.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have their different view of what's happening until the show ends.
I think if she's been brainwashed by Strucker, and this is some sort of protocol that they've enabled, I'm still right, because she's still making it. She's just been brainwashed to make it and to believe that it's real. Unless
it's possible, but
unless they did fabricate it, and she's brainwashed, and she's been brainwashed so that she is more believing and
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't understand why she would know who Sword is. She was an Avenger. She existed while Sword was around. So why, when she sees the logo, does she not recognize it? And when she sees a Sword agent come through the sewer vent, does she say no and rewind it? That's why I don't think she has control over that. I think somebody else is trying to keep Sword out of this.
Okay. I don't think that she would personally know who Sword is.
She knows who S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Why wouldn't she know who Sword is? It seems like the two entities are linked.
Are they, though? In the MCU, are they?
I don't know, but one deals with defense, the other deals with offense.
This is the first we're hearing of it. I don't and us, the viewers, follow the perspective of the Avengers. But
also, we haven't had anything that exists. we've gotten very limited. Josh is wanting us to wrap up this
like,
conversation. That was a
No,
very
I just
subtle
got a
way to do it, Josh.
No, I just got a text. That's all.
No, so we see very limited from the blip, from the time during the blip, which is when Sword would have been built, right?
No, because
When
Maria
was
would have
Maria Rambo.
probably shortly after like Captain Danvers came to Earth, and like
I don't know.
I would
So
think
even
because
our
that's
clue
what
is
would,
that when Monica Rambo comes back, she knew the guy who was the director, and she said, "Oh, you're a good choice." Basically, he's like, "I was the only choice." So she was familiar with the people
Okay,
in
that's-
in
yep.
Sword at the time.
Still, so the Rambos have a connection to Captain Marvel, who's an Avenger. So she would have known about Sword. You can say at the very least. So why wouldn't she tell the rest of the Avengers about Sword?
because she like
And if she doesn't,
isn't an Avenger.
Okay,
She
but then-
doesn't. She doesn't play nice with the team.
on the-
She doesn't tell them any. Like I don't think that that would actually
on the
come up
vice
in
versa,
conversation.
if she doesn't know who Sword is, then why, as soon as she sees this guy coming through the sewer grate, does she say no? It's just
Again,
everybody who comes out of sewer grates pure evil. Next
because
time I see somebody in the city, I'm just like, no, gotta report that guy to the police.
honestly, okay, let's just talk about that for a second because I have got a better point. But like, heck yes. Why is there a man crawling out of the sewer with a beekeeper suit? That image is terrifying to me.
He wore a hazmat suit in on the normal side. It's just
Yeah.
that when he got turned into 70s, it became a
But
beekeeper
that's not what
suit.
she saw. She
I know.
saw a beekeeper suit with bees
Fair,
flying
okay,
around.
it-
That's a
Ezra,
terrifying
I will
experience.
promise you this: if I ever see a man in a beekeeper suit come out of a sewer grate, you will be the first person I call.
My other point is like, again, I think she doesn't care who it is. It doesn't belong there. She knows that it doesn't belong there because she made this universe.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want it there. That's why she said no and rewinded time. Send him back to where he came from. I think she made the thing.
Okay.
It's like if you made like a video game, like you made Minecraft, and all of a sudden there was like a Herobrine in it, and you were like, "What the crap is this?" That's really like meta.
That's so terrible.
But you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like if you
Yeah.
made this world, you would kind of
Something
expect
doesn't
that
belong.
that-
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I think.
Josh, we've heard none of your thoughts.
I feel
It's
like
hard to get a word in edgewise.
we're getting into stuff that we're just not gonna know until a couple more episodes.
I agree.
It's true.
I'm still laying down my speculations now, though.
Oh, yeah.
These are my theories. I'm really excited to listen to your theory.
All of
Yeah,
this
I
comes
gotta
with
get
bragging
that.
rights. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. Whose theory? No, I we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping to get my theory out this week, but that's gonna take. Well, it could happen tomorrow if I do get a snow day, which it is a blizzard right now.
they already canceled my work for tomorrow.
So it's
Yeah, I
possible
saw that.
I will have a snow day tomorrow, and if that's the case, then I could possibly get my theory out. But we'll have to see. So, anyone have anything else to add? I mean, I'm just really excited
What a
as to
show.
where it's going right now. I know it's
This
really
is an amazing
really
show.
cool.
You can tell that this is a great show, like judging on our conversation about it.
Yeah,
I
how
mean, like,
lively we can be with it. This
This
is not. When I first saw the trailers, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I know you weren't that hot
I'll
on it.
watch it because we're gonna talk about it on the podcast.
Mhm.
And now look at me, here I am. So
and
what a mistake that was. I'll just stop watching it, guys.
No, don't. It's great. It's kind of cool that it's only a miniseries, which means that's it. We're gonna get 9 episodes, and
I do like that it will have a
That's it.
solid conclusion. Well,
yeah, me too.
I say that. We don't know that it will have a solid conclusion. This could be the least satisfying payoff we've ever had, but
That's true.
I'm
I
trusting.
feel like it's not going to be. I feel like it's gonna be good. So, yeah. So that's all we have for today. Make sure to leave a like on the episode or the video, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our future upcoming material or videos that are coming. We actually are going to have another live stream next week, a week from today, on episode 5, and that will likely be a lively one as well. So make sure you tune in. And yeah. And until next time, we don't have to stay here. We can go wherever we want.
Oh, I didn't have it pulled up.
No, we can't. This is our home.
10 out of 10.